We're here with Tristan Duncan, Hearts wide receiver. Tristan, coming off of last year's Week 3 loss in the playoffs to Bishop McNamara, what's the keys going into this season?
I think our keys are just to work harder. I don't think a lot of us are satisfied. I feel like that was a team that we could beat, and for them to get second in the playoffs, like that should have been us. So I think this year it just sets the bar higher and makes us want it even more.
What's it going to be like to have to replace the big man like Landon Wolf was last year?
I don't think it's just next man up. That's the mentality that you have to have. We lost Terrence Hill, who's the best player to ever come out of this high school in any sport, and so Landon is like right next to him. So I don't think it changes anything. It's just next man up. You gotta, if you want to be just like him, he's the bar. You have to set it high.
Tristan, what are you most excited about for the football season this year?
My most exciting thing is just to get back out there. We left a lot of potential left on that field. I feel like we still had 2 more games to play. I feel like we're capable of going so much farther and doing so much more.
Tristan, you missed a lot of the season last year due to injury. You were able to come back Week 3 of the playoffs, and you were just like, oh my God, I'm ready to play. What's going to be the key going into this year for you now that you're a junior?
I mean, you know that feeling when you get hurt, you sit on the sideline and watch the games, like 5 games, that's half your season. It just gets taken away. So you can't take an opportunity for granted. Every rep, every play, you just got to ball out.
We're here with Nathan Shackleford, Hearts football player, a senior this year. Nate, talk about what's the keys to the Effingham Hearts football season this year.
Just to keep playing physical like we always do. Being physical is our mentality here. We want to play fast, play quick, and just win the play, win the down, and win games, obviously.
So rumors are you're the next man up to replace the stud quarterback like Landon Wolf. What's that going to be like for you?
Landon was a great quarterback. He's a great teammate as well. So, I mean, he's someone that you want to strive to be, I guess you could say. You want to kind of match what he could do. It's going to be tough. He has pretty much every passing record here at Effingham. So if I can do half of what he did here in his career, then I think we'll be all right.
Nate, who do you think the biggest key on offense this year and the biggest key on defense this year, and why?
Offensively, I think it's up front, the offensive line. Everything starts with them. If they can hold their blocks, if they can play physical with the run game and the pass game, that gives me time to throw. That gives me time to throw and run if it's a run play as well. And it gives the receivers time to get downfield. On defense, also up front, it all starts up front. If we can rush the passer without bringing extra pressure, then force errors on the offensive side of the ball for the other team and help us win games.
Out of the entire team, if you could pick one person or several people, who would you pick as far as the biggest key to this team?
I think the biggest key to winning games this season for this team is just for all phases of the ball to come together every week. Strive for perfection, strive to win your play. If we can win offensively and then win defensively, force turnovers, get the ball back to the offense, and then special teams, keep field position down for the other team and up for us, we'll be all right.
We're here with Brett Hefner, the head coach of the Effingham Hearts. Coming off last year's Week 3 playoff loss for you guys to Bishop Mac, what are the biggest keys going into this year's fall season?
Well, I think the biggest thing, we lose some key people in key spots. Kimball Ballman was pretty good, 3-year starter at safety. Landon Wolf at quarterback, 3-year starter that owns about every passing record. We also lost 3 offensive linemen that have started 23 games the last 2 years. So we've got some key spots to fill. So the biggest thing is we return 8 starters defensively, relying on our defense early, and those guys kind of have to set the tone, and they kind of have to pick up where they left off last year. And then we've got some new guys up front offensively, that are going to have to get going right away for us.
What's it going to be like to have to replace a star quarterback like Landon Wolf?
Well, it's going to be tough. He's a nice safety blanket for us the last couple of years, and had a great senior year. The great thing for us is Nate Shackleford grew up playing quarterback, has played it in our system. Played it some as a sophomore when we played with 2 quarterbacks, and then he's just too good an athlete. We had to play him last year at wide receiver. But he knows the offense very well. Grew up around football. Dad was a coach, so I think it'll be a pretty easy transition for him and for us. It really doesn't change any of what we do. We haven't had to slow down any because he's learned it all the last 3 years as well.
What's it going to be like to have back Tristan Duncan fully healthy?
Well, the big thing is, the game of football has, turnovers and explosive plays. And he's obviously an explosive play guy for us. And those weeks that he was out last year, a little bit harder to stretch the field. Hopefully we can keep him healthy, but to have a vertical threat, to have a threat that every time they touch the ball, it has a chance of being an explosive play is big, to stretch the field. And you got to have those home run hitters. We're fortunate that he's a pretty good one for us.
Brett, what is the biggest key player or keys players to every Friday night win?
I think the biggest thing for us is we're going to have to stay healthy. So I would say everybody that ends up playing for us is a key player. Schools of our size is smaller. We don't have mass numbers of kids. And one of the keys the last 2 years for us and all of our success has been our ability to stay healthy. When we did lose Tristan last year, it was just one person. We didn't lose 3, 4, 5 people. So I think the biggest thing, we got to stay healthy. I think the next biggest thing we have to do, our defense has to play. We got to lean on them early. And then probably the biggest key for us going forward is going to be how quickly those new guys offensively get acclimated to varsity football and get going.